You are listening to the number one podcast for men 40 plus who are able to listen to Don Imus and Howard Stern on the radio at the same time for free. Aging Immaturely is brought to you by Anchor. If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. Let me explain. First of all, it's free. There's creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. Anchor will distribute your podcast for you so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more. You can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. Welcome to the next episode of Aging Immaturely. Jeff, how you doing?
All right. Rob, how are you?
I'm terrific. We got some big news today, but we'll get to that in just one sec. Because today's episode is brought to you by Restaurant.com. With Restaurant.com, you can save at thousands of restaurants across the country with just a few clicks. Their dining deals range from $5 to $100. They never expire and cost you a fraction of the face value. Dinner has never been easier with Restaurant.com, used for dine-in, takeout, or delivery. Restaurant.com is offering our listeners 50% off their next purchase by going to www.restaurant.com/podcast. That's www.restaurant.com/podcast. For 50% off your next purchase, Restaurant.com, the best meal, every meal. So what's doing today?
Just another day here. Still trying to get over the circus from the other night.
Yeah, it's been interesting. But before we get to that, I just want to point out to our listeners how much we care about you. We have actually invested in the company, in the show, in some new recording equipment, which we hope is going to sound a lot better. And we are also on Apple Podcasts now. So it's like we've hit the major leagues.
Yeah,
we've really hit the major leagues. And I got to tell you from the bottom of my heart, this really reminds me of when I used to do triathlons. One thing they used to say, as opposed to like people going to fantasy baseball camp, that, you would go down, people would go down and play on these fake, the smaller fields.
Sure.
When you're doing a triathlon, you are on the same course as, like, I was considered an age grouper as the elite athletes. So just from that, Jeff, we have made the big time. We are on the same app, the same platform as some of the great podcasters around. Hopefully one day we'll be up there. Our listening audience, thank you very much. Give us some positive reviews. Keep the dream alive. And we're happy to do it for you. But yeah, that was pretty much a shit show the other night. Getting back to that. After my great intro, then you go to this shit.
By the way, phenomenal intro. That was very impressive.
You like that?
It was very smooth, well delivered.
I think it was better than the debate. It
was clearer and more articulate than that debate. Yes, I would agree with you.
Oh my God, that turned into a Jerry Springer episode. I was waiting for like a fat guy to run across the stage and get naked at some point and take his clothes off. I'm telling you, it was horrible.
It was horrible on so many levels. That of all the possible candidates, this is what it's come down to: a shouting match back and forth
between two old white men.
It is. Yeah. It's just crazy. I can't tell you how many times I turned my head to just like look away for a minute because it was such a train wreck.
It was like even beyond that, it was like a train wreck, but you had to look just in case you saw like an arm coming out of somewhere where it shouldn't be, or like a body part floating around somewhere where it shouldn't be. That's how bad it was.
It was the equivalent of like two old people that got into an argument on the road, fighting from the inside of their cars, yelling back and forth at each other.
You know what? You're making a good point. I'll tell you why. I've seen this argument before. Like when I go down to Florida, that's like two men arguing over a parking spot. That's what this debate was.
That is exactly what this was.
Yeah, they both belong down there. At least Donald's down there already. He moved to Florida. It's time to get 87-year-old Joe down there already. Wow. But I mean, really, after the last, let's say, he's been in office almost 4 years. So he's been 5 years. He's really been in the mainstream, politics, whatever. Did you expect anything different?
You knew he was going to be aggressive, but you were hoping that from the previous 3 3.75 years of being in the highest position of the land, that he would have a little bit more control.
Well, I didn't expect that. That just wasn't going to happen. You knew that, and I knew that.
I don't remember ever seeing presidential debates or two candidates standing in front of a TV and an audience ever being that entertaining. Politics was never supposed to be that kind of a comedy show.
This is what you get. This is unfortunately what you get.
If you have 3 people sitting in the audience, you have you have the former vice president telling the current president to shut up. It
was pretty good. He was getting testy. At least you saw something out of him. At least he showed some fight.
Oh yeah. I mean, there were some lines in there that, when I think it was Biden said to him, Trump said, I have 35,000, 40,000 people attending my rallies. Right. You have like 3. And he was like, oh, that's because of social distancing. And he's like, no, it's because nobody wants to hear you speak. I mean, you can't make this up.
No, you can't. But you know what? At the same time, he wasn't so wrong.
I mean, there's always a little truth in humor.
Right.
We know that. That's what makes it so funny. But it's just that we're talking about the president of the United States or the future president. And this is what it's come down to.
It's a sad thing. It
is. We're talking over 200 plus years of history of doing it this way. And it's turned into
a shit show.
There's no other way to put it. I'm trying to find the right words. I can't. It was a shit show.
Yeah. I mean, it's whatever. Here's the take. I'll tell you the truth. And like we said, we don't get political here. We're not getting political.
No, not at all.
No, we'll trash them both equally and whatever and what have you. Look, you have Joe Biden, according to him, 200 years in the Senate. That's a direct quote. I'm not making that up. The bar has been set very low for him by the media.
Yeah.
Basically, really, if he didn't keel over and die, if he didn't have a stroke, then he won. He's winning. That's reality. That's unfortunately reality right now. And then you've got Donald Trump, who is the world's greatest car salesman. He is. He's just, that's all. He's a pure salesman, and that's what he is.
Yes, he is.
You know who he reminds me of? I was thinking remember Crazy Eddie?
Yeah.
Remember Crazy Eddie? My prices are insane.
Well, if you think about it, you make an excellent point, because didn't Crazy Eddie flee the country because he didn't pay taxes either?
Yes, he didn't pay taxes, that's right, but he got caught. I mean, what Donald supposedly has done is legal, what he's done with the tax law. But yeah, Crazy Eddie he got nailed for tax evasion. But just think about this. Donald Trump in a Crazy Eddie commercial. You ready?
I can't wait to hear
because I have the greatest administration of all time. I'm cutting taxes. My economic prices are insane.
My buildings,
but that's what it is. He's coming out. He's a showman. He's a car.
We can take it a step further.
My economic policy is insane.
My buildings have depreciated so much in value. I'm practically giving them all away.
What, his properties?
According to him, under his write-downs.
Between the depreciation and the losses, he's never going to pay
No.
tax again. But what he said? All right, so he said, it's a tax law as you wrote. Yes, it is a tax law as you wrote. I don't have a problem or an issue with him for what he did with the taxes, because it's totally legal. It's very different when you take, what's the unfortunate thing is what the media is not pointing out. And I think, even if you look at, even Fox versus, which is more conservative, versus MSNBC and CNN, which are all, part of the right, what he's doing is not illegal. There are different taxes when you're through real estate than you do as an everyday person.
And that's why a lot of people go into real estate. And that's
what's not being pointed out.
A lot of people go into real estate for that reason.
Exactly. The real estate, like you look at a building technically does not make money.
It's just a structure.
Right. And if you have a property, look, I'm not an accountant, but if you have a property under an LLC, you don't get you're not taxed at the same rate as an everyday person or as an everyday business. And that, you explain, even me as a small business person, you have leeway. There is leeway within the system to not pay taxes.
I wouldn't even call it leeway. It is
not pay taxes, but there's
laws.
There's a way to manipulate the system that's out there. And that system needs to be at the end of the day, that system needs to be manipulated.
I don't even think it,
because it powers the economy. So let's put it that way.
Listen, I don't think that I don't think these are the rules that are put in place. He's taking advantage of the rules. Barring anything like maybe if the write down should be like $10 million, let's say for a building. Let's say he's putting $30 million. That's a little different. Mm-hmm. That's lying. But what he's claiming to this point is that he has been playing by the rules,
which he has.
Nobody has proved it wrong yet.
No, not at all.
And if they do, then it's a different story. If he broke the law, then that's different. But if he
then go prosecute. If he did break the law, then you know what, go after him. But it's going to be very, very hard to prove. And you at a certain point, you start to open up a can of worms that you don't want to open up, because it goes after, a lot of what this economy is built on, and a lot of what generates money.
Yeah. I think we have to, when we're talking about the future of the country and the future of the presidency, we need to get past certain things. Like, I understand it's about the person's character and who they are. But I mean, honestly, I've heard enough about this tax situation. He's in real estate. These are the rules that are afforded to him. They've yet to say he broke the law. If maybe he did, maybe he didn't. I'm not saying one way or the other, because I don't know, and nobody really does. But until they prove it otherwise, move on. Let's go on to a real topic. Let's discuss what he's there to do.
Get over it already. That's what, things happen in real estate. I've been involved in certain things, and unless there are tax credits or give backs, you know what? A lot of things aren't going to be built.
Yeah.
You take that one building that's built, how many jobs come from that building?
Right.
We really can't point that finger that say, that you did this, you're wrong, et cetera, because it does power a lot of the economy.
I'll tell you what scares me a little bit about focusing on these types of issues rather than the country as a whole. It goes back to like Bill Clinton. When the whole Monica Lewinsky thing came down, we spent way too much time on it.
He's getting his own podcast, or he has, and so is she.
Oh, I would believe
it. I think, remember those books when we were like in sleepaway camp? You used to get those like dirty books. I hope he gets like a chat by the fire or something, because I don't want to hear him talk about politics. After what you pulled off in the Oval Office, come on, man. Oh, I just get a good Joe Biden line there. What do you want to hear from? What do you want to? From Bill Clinton? You want to hear about politics or Jeffrey Epstein? Which one?
I mean, my whole thing is that once again he was the president. This took place. Mm-hmm. Granted, it was in the Oval Office, but did that really affect his ability to run the country?
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. And that stuff was going on for years. I mean, for what came out, with Kennedy after, all the rumors in this, but there was a respect for it. It was a different time. It was a very different time. It was a respect. Journalists at that time had a respect for the president. I'm sure he wasn't the only one. I'm sure things have gone on. These presidents haven't been as perfect as we thought, but as long as it does, like anything else, as long as it doesn't affect your ability to do your job, what's the big deal?
Yeah. I'm trying to think back to when this started to take a turn, and now I'm starting to think that maybe it happened during the Clinton administration when he looked into the camera
you go back
and said, I did not have sexual relations with that woman.
Even before that, when he said, I didn't inhale.
Oh, that's true also.
That was that, you go back to certain things and you really look at it and you take that line. I did not inhale. You admitted that you tried weed, that you smoked marijuana. Such a terrible.
And now 20 years later, we're trying to force it to become legal.
Smoking in the office, who cares? But what happened was that really changed, I think, the focus where, these people or the person running for the president of the United States had to be a perfect individual.
That was the appearance.
Right. And that's just not happening now.
Do you remember when Obama said when it came out that he smoked cigarettes? And it was like, yes,
right.
I've had the occasional cigarette, and I'm sorry. Like, right. Come on.
I mean, to say that a politician, first of all, president of the United States, morally great and all that. No, you know what? You start out as a politician first, so you're a scumbag to begin with. So let's call a spade there. But to look to our politicians, the people that run this country, for our moral whatever, that's the wrong thing.
Yeah, they're
have respect for the office.
Maybe we're looking at the president in the wrong light. Maybe we shouldn't expect them to be perfect. Nobody is.
No. Look at all that came out. You talk about, the Teflon Don, and that's basically what he was. All the mudslinging that was thrown at him before he got elected president. I mean, no other person could survive that.
No. Very different time.
This country is right now in a very different time.
It's extremely different. I don't know, all the headline. I mean, in this past year, everything has turned upside down. Everything.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just getting out of control, and basically whoever gets to office next, I hope, can figure this out.
But I don't know if there is any, and I don't know, and I don't want to get into it too deeply, but all right. So getting back to Joe Biden for a second. All right, I know Donald likes to call him Sleepy Joe. I have my own nickname for him.
Do I want to know?
Yeah, it's not bad. I like to call him Prune Juice Joe.
All right,
I think at 87, you need a little juice to get you going.
I can see that.
It's not bad. So that's what I like to call him, Prune Juice Joe. If and when he gets in, I want to apply for the job. I would like to bring that silver serving tray with the presidential, with a glass with the presidential seal on it of his prune juice.
So you'd like to walk into the Oval Office. Good morning, Mr. President. Here's your prune juice.
Yeah. And I got to tell you, there was two things. Like, again, the media or everybody set the bar for him solo. You know, we know he's a gaffe machine. We know he's and like I said, this is what I wanted to know, what his economic policy was going to
be. Did he really explain it, or did he just raise taxes for corporations from 20% to 28%? And you know, there was very little, and I think that this was the.
It's what he's saying is raising taxes, and we're going to buy.
That's all he basically got in.
That's all. But this is where Donald is not good, and where I'm going to give Biden credit, because after his 200 years in the Senate, that's a direct quote from him. This is where you can take something, ask a question, and just talk in circles. Are you going to eliminate the tax cut, or I'm going to eliminate the tax, and then the Buy American? So this is where I got to give him credit. Anytime. So you're going to raise taxes on people. Anybody over $400,000 is getting their taxes raised once he gets in. And you're going to buy American from companies. That's not going to happen.
No, it's not the way it works.
I am in a business. I'm a businessman, and I'm dealing with this right now. And I have to put in things that I have requests from customers because we're doing, government. They're doing government work, and we're supplying to government work. It's not true. Half the stuff is not made here. Half the stuff is never going to be made here. And there are so many ways to get around it. From a company that says, "Oh, it's made in America," it's assembled in America. It's not made in America.
That's like if you look at like the window sticker on a car. It could be a Toyota that's built in North Carolina.
Right, but the parts aren't from here. We're not manufacturing the
parts. You're still supplying jobs.
Yeah, but not many as you could. Or the stuff that they need is made in America, or it gets, basically the reality is stuff gets specced out on jobs, and it's an American, quote, company. And the stuff is not made here, and they tell you just to cut the label off.
Right.
That's reality.
But here's the other reality.
It's not going to happen.
Are you willing to pay, $80,000 for a Toyota Camry so that it's all built here?
Right. No. I'm not. I agree with you. I agree with you. We are never going to supply cheap labor. So all this stuff that we're going to do, Buy American, that's your economic policy. It's not going to happen.
We live in a global economy. There are certain things that are produced here that are exported, and certain things that are imported for different reasons.
Right.
For efficiencies, and that's to me the way the economy is most effective. Now, do we want to see everybody who wants to get a job in this country employed? Absolutely. Is the system perfect? No. There's a lot of flaws, and you try to tweak it and do as much as you can. But there are certain realities, from an economic standpoint, that it's cheaper to get certain things overseas.
Yeah. So that's not going to happen. So great economic policy. It's basically, we're going to raise your taxes. We're going to raise the corporate tax, and corporations are going to leave again. Can we agree?
Probably. Yeah. I mean,
okay.
But I also think one of the issues, now we're getting a little off course, but, I have no problem paying my fair share as long as it's being used correctly, that it's not being wasted.
I'm a libertarian. I don't like taxes.
But you need something to support where you live.
Yeah, I know. I got to do what you got to do. Okay. Now, number two for me was the other question that he's been avoiding, and that is with the Supreme Court. And this can have significant effects on our country, basically rendering the court as another branch
Yes.
of partisan government. Where Biden, after 247 years in the Senate,
Okay.
247, where he is being the typical politician and walking and not answering the question. And he knows, because he's going to pack the court. They're going to get rid of the filibuster. Again, I don't want to get into politics, but here it is. Here's evidence he's not answering the question. And he knows how to get around how to do it. Here, ask me a question.
So, Joe, would you actually repaint the White House to a different color if you were elected president?
Here's the thing. We have to look at all options. If we don't look at these options, then we are not leaving ourselves open. Now, there's a ton of colors out there. We can do certain things. And if we look at all the colors, we can make a decision. And once we make that decision, we got to go forward with that decision. But we have to make a commitment. You go vote, register to vote, and you can make that decision. The American people deserve what they want. And when we go vote, you are going to say what you want. How was that?
That was fantastic.
You see? But that's what I'm saying. That is what I'm saying. Like, no matter what, you can always, you could always get that kind of reaction. That's where he's at his best. It's
Wow.
the talking. It's talking in circles.
I think you should probably become the speechwriter for him.
You don't need to. I mean, if he can stay awake, he's killing it.
Oh, speaking of that, did you see all the rules that they wanted?
Oh, now?
No, before the debate with the no earpieces, no 30-minute breaks, no.
Right. They're not supposed to. They're not supposed to have earpieces. And if you can't stand up there for an hour and a half, I mean, come on, really? That's really telling you something.
That's what I was thinking. Like, isn't that part of the job?
Yeah, to stand up. Yeah.
I mean, if you look at any president from when they walk in, from the inauguration, to the 4 years, they look much older. They age. It's a tough job.
Tremendously.
Very stressful.
I mean, Donald's gone from like bright orange to somewhat of a dull orange. His coloring.
That's probably not from genetics, though.
No.
But
I mean, the hair's a little wavier.
But you heard that he wrote off like $70,000 in hair products. Was that it? $70,000 in hair care?
No, he did?
It was something like that.
Oh, come on.
On his taxes.
It wasn't depreciation of the hair products? They've been there so long.
Maybe it's depreciation of the hair. Let me see.
No. You can't be serious.
No, I thought I heard that it was I thought it had something to do with
no way.
Tax fraud barbershop where Trump got his $70,000 haircuts. Yeah.
Wait, he's spending $70,000 on a haircut?
No, well, I mean, I think in hair care. Let's see here. Tax documents obtained by the New York Times show that during the making of The Apprentice, he deducted $70,000 for the cost of his haircuts and hairstyling.
Wait, NBC didn't pick up the tab on that?
That's a good point.
Come on, that's ridiculous.
Don't
they have those people already? So that's creating jobs.
All right, you listen to this.
Okay.
Trump's businesses also wrote off at least $95,000 paid to a favorite hair and makeup artist of Ivanka Trump. That's a lot of hair and makeup.
Wait, how much?
$95,000.
That's it? How much Botox and collagen do you think she's doing? I know what my wife pays for that stuff.
I don't know. This is just hair and makeup, though.
Yeah.
How much is a haircut for a woman?
I have no clue.
What are those the fancy ones? What are they, like $200, $300?
$200-$300, let's say. Plus
Let's-
tip. Plus tip.
let's say it's Ivanka
How
Trump.
much do you tip on that? How much do you tip? Like, where do you go?
I just get a regular haircut.
Right. So like $5.
Yeah, $7.
7. Wow, you're a big tipper.
Actually, during COVID, I've
Yeah.
been tipping a little bit more just to support.
Yeah,
my-
I think we all have.
Yeah, I mean,
Got it.
I'm
Gotta
happy
help fill
that I'm happy
Yeah.
that they're still there and they're working and things like that. But here, let's do this.
Yeah.
95,000
Okay.
divided by let's say Ivanka gets really over the top and does a haircut for $500.
Okay. Once a month. That's still $6,000.
That's 190 haircuts
That's a lot of haircuts.
at $500 a piece. So that means every other day she's getting her hair
Getting a
done
haircut?
professionally.
Okay, that's just insane. And that's just her. That's not her husband, no kids, nothing. That's just her for haircut.
For $95,000, what does somebody do? Who out there is spending $95,000 a year on cosmetics or beauty or what? That's insane.
I'm sure they do. I mean, I don't.
How long can you sit?
Well, you get 80 hours at Malibu, so I mean, but that's at least covered by insurance.
Yeah, look,
Yeah.
he's deducting it from taxes. Can you imagine if you
There's
ran
your
into
tax
insurance
deduction.
also?
Depreciation. My hair depreciates.
Maybe it's a new tax law, depreciation of hair.
Look, again, I have no problem with what he did. I mean, a lot of it you got carryover because you were such a bad business person, because you made a lot of mistakes. True.
Yeah, he's had his, low points in business.
Right.
Atlantic City kind of.
Oh, that was a shit show.
Do you remember the opening of the Taj Mahal?
Taj Mahal, yeah.
Oh,
It
remember
was
you
grand.
rubbed the lamp?
Yeah,
That was the biggest deal. That was a big deal.
I know. And it went into the crapper, but all the Atlantic City's been in.
The whole
went
thing
into
did.
the crapper.
Unbelievable.
But all right, so who do you think? Honestly, who do you think won the other night? How would you judge it?
I don't know. I don't know. Was it like the Biggest Loser?
What? Who won? Who lost the most weight? I mean,
I
what do
don't
you
know
mean?
how else do you gauge it?
How else do you gauge it? How see. I'm gonna put it this way. First of all, you had Donald Trump acting as Chewbacca half the time. I'm gonna honestly tell you, and I hope our audience isn't shocked. Policy wise, you got to give it to Trump.
Okay.
Policy wise, you have to give it to Trump because Biden honestly said absolutely nothing on policy.
No, he didn't. He didn't really say. He really didn't discuss much.
No,
There's
again,
nothing. There was not. He was more composed, but there was not
right.
a lot
He
of
was.
substance.
He was the perfect politician.
Yeah.
And that's what he was. And
Yep.
that's it. He showed poise. I think if Trump didn't shut the fuck up, or if he did shut the fuck up, I think Biden would have run into problems. He
I
would
think so
have
too.
talked himself into a problem.
I
And
think
because
so
he was
also.
so aggressive, he didn't let that happen.
Yeah. There were so many things wrong with it. Are they still going forward with the rest of the debates and everything?
As of now, but I think they want a mute button. You know what? I mean, I think the Trump campaign is absolutely stupid for arguing that point. Let it go. Let him do it. Sometimes you what's the thing? Blah blah blah. What you ask for.
Be careful what you ask for.
Be careful what you ask for, and this is going to be. This
careful what
could
you wish
possibly
for.
be one of those times.
Yeah.
That the Biden campaign wants him to mute so he can speak. He's shot after 30 seconds.
Yeah.
And he was headed there a couple of times. Like when they asked him, like, here, point blank, Joe Biden, what law enforcement group is supporting you? And he just, the silence. And then Trump started speaking again. If he wouldn't wait another 10 seconds, you do this for a while, you know that 10 seconds in broadcast is a long time. That's a lot of dead air.
It is.
And how do you recover from that? And then the moderator saved them again. But still, how do you recover from that?
All Trump has to do is when the moderator says your 2 minutes is up, just nod his head. Okay.
Right.
He's making his point. People are hearing him. Let the other side speak.
Yeah, no, I think I know why, you could see, it's been 4 years of a buildup, and he's, Biden obviously has been handled by, with kid gloves from the media. Nobody can dispute that.
Right.
And Donald came and asked the questions that he was hoping people, would answer or ask over the last, let's say, year or so that haven't. And that's what happened, but some, again, you tell him, not to, you tell Trump not to do this. It's just like, somebody's got to take the phone out of his hand and just shut the F up. And maybe you have a shot, because I don't think he did himself any justice the other day.
I think it's going to be a last minute decision.
You think for a lot of people?
I think so.
Well, so, we'll see. There's a lot of closet people, and that's how he won the election last time. Let's put it that way.
Yep, because Clinton was supposed to win by a landslide, wasn't she?
She was up. I think she was up pretty significantly in the national poll.
Yeah.
And I remember watching it, and I said to my wife, like, once Florida goes, and I said, watch. And that's what happened. And I think, again, a lot of people, it's just, are not going to admit it. And then, you try to explain to people, what exactly are you getting with the Democratic Party? Are you getting your parents and my parents' Democratic Party, or are you getting the Green New Deal Democratic Party? With AOC and all these other people. And are we going to go radicalize? And are we going to go, to Medicare for all and all that kind of stuff, and really go down a slippery slope as a country?
Yeah. Even Obamacare, which was his big platform from the beginning, took years for that to go through.
And now it's, I've spoken to, again, I'm a frontline kind of person because I run my own business, and I have to go through my medical every year and renew it. And I was curious, because you hear everybody, okay, you hear the pre-existing condition part, which, you cannot argue that that's a great thing for somebody that's sick, that you're able to get insurance. But I went through a very, I asked my rep, like, what's the reality? You tell me, instead of what I hear on the news. Here's somebody that deals with it every day. And it's not good, because a lot of insurance companies tried to get into the market and and they just got squashed. And that's why you have, like, these big hospitals creating basically their own networks.
Yeah, the healthcare system is a whole other debacle.
Yeah. But that's what we get.
Yeah. This is
you're gonna have a free market. You're gonna have look, a doctor is a doctor. You can't start regulating this. And let me tell you from experience, anytime that the federal government starts sticking their nose in to your industry, watch out.
How can I always find it funny when government gets involved in business, and how big is the deficit?
Right.
Who can run a business?
Oh, you can't.
That big of a loss.
Because you're dealing with people, and I'm going to say this for every politician that's out there, honestly. There is no
accountability.
There you go. That's the perfect word. Accountability. Like, I have to, as a business owner, I have to pay my taxes. I have to do this. You take the numbers aren't real, and there is no accountability for anybody to make a mistake. Oh, okay, raise taxes, or we just run with a deficit.
When you
Or people
become,
get laid off, it doesn't affect them.
I mean, the benefits that you get as a politician, as a senator,
Incredible,
for
incredible.
are insane. You have a deficit in the trillions, yet you get the greatest pay package and healthcare benefits for the rest of your life.
Right.
How, can you imagine if you ran your own business into the ground, but were guaranteed money and to be taken care of for the rest of your life? How does that work?
That's what I'm saying. That it doesn't like the money they're throwing out. It just does after a while. It doesn't make any sense. And that again, I don't know about the debt markets and how much China owns the United States and all that kind of stuff. But but when you don't have to pay those bills, it doesn't matter. When you play with, it's very different. And I always say this: when you're playing with somebody else's money and you're playing with your money, it's two totally different things. You don't take the risk.
Absolutely. When you're the one that has to make that money, you handle it very differently.
Yeah. And they're just not. There's no, I don't know. I hope things change because I really feel bad for our kids because it's getting worse. It's just terrible. It is really getting worse.
It's scary. There's so many things that are out of balance. Even like cost of education,
right?
Then getting a job. You spend all this money. You spend $40,000, $50,000, $60,000 a year for a college education. Now you're doing it remotely, so I don't even see the value there. And then you go out and maybe you get a job. What kind of return on an investment is that?
It's not. It's a there is no return on investment.
No.
It's we've got to work on that. I mean, it is what it is. But the Green New Deal is going to come eventually, or parts of it. But you were telling me, but now there is, with all the advances in technology recently, one thing that hasn't been changed too much is toilet paper. But you were telling me you found an environmentally friendly toilet paper.
Yeah, I was reading an article and found out that they are making a new type of toilet paper made out of bamboo.
You're kidding me.
Bamboo toilet paper.
Ooh, is that good for the flush?
I don't know if that's good for anybody. I mean, I was reading an article about this new. I don't think it's really that new. I think it's been out there, but it's along the lines of that green type of environmental. And there's a group out there, and there's a bunch of celebrity investors: Mark Cuban, Mark Benioff, Robert Downey Jr., Gwyneth Paltrow, Russell Wilson, Ashton Kutcher. I mean, but bamboo toilet paper,
man. That's why they're the shit. That's why.
I don't. I mean, oh, here we go. 15% deforestation is due to toilet paper production alone. Wow. And roughly 40,000 trees per day are cut down for U.S. consumers.
Save the trees. Well, they're burning out in California, man. We got to save them trees.
Oh, yeah, but I mean,
start buying bamboo.
I mean, bamboo can't. Do you know how much bamboo goes for? Is it expensive?
I don't know. I just had to deal with the bamboo over here at my house, and that's just. And I got to tell you, I wouldn't take it and wipe my ass with it. It's hard.
Kids are helping.
Wait, some of the names on here are amazing. Okay, so one company is called Who Gives a Crap?
Oh yeah, I saw them. Fantastic.
Okay, that is legit. Now I'm going I'm going on to Amazon.
Okay.
All right. So they got Kaboo. Don't love the name. Okay. Elvis. There's Elvis Smart.
What?
There's Elvis Smart bamboo toilet roll.
Really?
Elvis? And Elvis died on the toilet. Ah,
All right.
that was subtle, right?
Yeah.
You never thought of that one.
No.
Yes, Elvis died on the toilet, and now you're naming bamboo toilet paper after Elvis Presley.
Okay, so
there's Cheeky Panda. That's another one.
All
Cheeky
right.
Panda. And then you have the basic, Nature's Greatest.
At what point
Okay.
does our favorite store, Costco, make the knockoff bamboo brand?
Ooh. Now you're making a great point. If you get Kirkland bamboo toilet paper, then you're mainstream.
That would be
That's when you hit it.
amazing.
When Costco starts knocking you off or taking your idea, you've made it.
And that's going to do it for today's episode of Aging Immaturely. You can follow us on Instagram at Aging Immaturely, Facebook Aging Immaturely, or you can email us at agingimmaturely@gmail.com.